Yo, what is up everyone, zKarmaa here, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. Today, I bring you all my updated level 65 KARMAGEDDON build. I wanted to revisit the build because there has been recent changes with the way Amara activates her action skill and anointments, because you can no longer phase grasp, and that was a feature used in my previous iteration of this build. In this video, I'll be going over the build itself and its functionality, and I will also go over the changes to make it work post-patch. So before I get into this video, if you find it informative or helpful in any way, a like rating is greatly appreciated as it really helps out the channel, and if you want to sub for more content like this, that'll be awesome as well. I also wanted to quickly mention a few people, Lone Masterino and Oh Yes 10fps for originally sending me this build back when DLC 3 was released, and to Moxie for being the first creator to make a video with this same interaction. And now, starting off, here are the skill trees. You can go ahead and copy them for yourselves. And now, the main difference of the build is that this time, we will no longer be using Phase Grasp as our action skill. We will now be switching to Phase Cast. However, we will only use it if we need the extra damage from the action skill and anoints. Otherwise, we just don't use our action skill as it won't really make a difference, because everything is just gonna die regardless. Anyway, now let's talk about the main components of this build. You will need a radiation complex root and a red suit shield. The anointments are not very important for this build as it's basically overkill, but you can take a splash damage anoint or consecutive hits anoint on the complex root, and a bonus radiation on your red suit shield. For the class mod, you can use a driver or a phaser, it doesn't really matter, as long as they have bonus splash damage radius as one of the passives. Also, if you use a phaser, make sure that it does not contain points in conflux because you will be downed. Now for the artifact, you need an elemental projector victory rush with bonus area of effect damage. So, this build revolves around the use and mechanics of the complex root. This sniper rifle can be obtained in DLC number 3 from Lanny Dixon. This weapon shoots out a projectile that creates several child projectiles, and those child projectiles create a zigzag pattern and then explode. Now, when you combine this with the bonus area of effect and bonus splash radius from your artifact and class mods, the explosions become massive. They literally nuke the entire map and hit every enemy visible on the map as long as there's no obstructions. And it also hits you, applying a radiation dot on Amara. So that's why you have the red suit, so you are immune to that radiation damage. Anyway, whenever you dot yourself with this radiation, it will proc the bonus from the elemental projector victory rush, and it will also help with gaining stacks of mindfulness, which will increase our movement speed. And if you are using a driver, the faster you move, the more damage bonus you get. That alone is already dealing quite a bit of damage, but we are not done here. With Amara's skill Indiscriminate, projectiles have a 30% chance to ricochet and deal 50% less damage. However, on Mayhem 10, this skill will actually deal 7 times the damage, and then Indiscriminate just double dips into any bonus splash or elemental damage, like Tempest, Arms Deal, and Heavy Rain. Now, here's what's crazy. When you shoot the complex root, each child projectile will have a chance to ricochet. And when it ricochets, it will recreate the effect of the complex root, creating even more child projectiles that again will nuke the entire map, and on top of that, have a chance at proccing Indiscriminate again. And if it procs Indiscriminate again, more child projectiles are created and more indiscriminate shots happened. And every time it keeps ricocheting, they double, triple, quadruple, dip into bonus splash, bonus elemental damage, and the Mayhem scaling that Indiscriminate receives on Mayhem 11, meaning that the damage from one shot of your complex root will exponentially increase depending on how many times these ricochets happen. So essentially, shoot complex root, things go boom. Now I want to mention a few more skills that will fine-tune this build. Anima will increase our status effect damage and duration, and it will be helpful for keeping a constant dot on Amara for mindfulness and the elemental projector. Infusion will convert a portion of the damage dealt by our weapons into our action skill element. This isn't really gonna benefit us all that much since it won't apply to the explosions themselves, but it can be beneficial when dealing with a single target that has more resistance to radiation if you shoot straight at them. For survivability, sustainment will keep us alive for the rest of eternity. 1 point is enough to get through anything. Now for more damage, we have skills like Personal Space, which is going to give us 54% V2 damage bonus, and Wrath will give us up to 40% damage, which is actually additive with the damage that we get from our driver class mod, and the damage that we get from the consecutive hits anointment if you choose to run that over the 200% splash anoint. My recommendation is if you're running a driver, run the 200% splash anoint, and if you're running a phaser, you can get away with the consecutive hits anoint. Anyway, moving on, Transcend will increase our critical hit damage. And now for increase in DPS, we have Fast Hands and Alacrity, which will both increase our reload speed. From Rest will increase our fire rate and charge time, and Deep Well will increase our magazine size. We also have Remnant, which carries overkill damage and receives a 600% increase in damage on Mayhem 10. This orb has the potential to one-shot literally any enemy in the game depending on the amount of overkill damage we do. It can easily hit damage cap with this build. And lastly, we have Restless, which will reduce our action skill cooldown, allowing us to proc our action skill and anoints more often. As you have seen by this gameplay, I hardly even use my action skill. In fact, I don't think I used it at all in this gameplay, because honestly the extra damage you get from the anointments is mostly overkill and just a waste of time. And I mainly don't use it because Amara makes a lot of noises when she applies a dot on herself with the driver, but it could definitely be helpful against more tanky enemies. However, when you do decide to use your action skill, which will be phase cast, make sure to hit the larger enemy so you can get the bonus from Laid Bare, because we're also using Laid Bare, which will increase our damage against targets that have taken action skill damage. And now I want to quickly touch on driver versus phaser for this build. I personally recommend the driver just because of that bonus you get from moving fast. The faster you move, the higher the bonus. A phaser is also very good, but the main use of the phaser is rush stacks, and in this particular build, we're not really making use of any of those rush stacks. However, I will say if you're not a fan of the driver, the phaser will do you just well. As long as it doesn't have conflux, please keep that in mind. If you have points into conflux, you will accidentally apply a different dot on yourself other than radiation, and you will get downed. But anyways guys, that is all I wanted to cover for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to drop a like, as that would be very much appreciated and it really helps out the channel. And also, YouTube told me that about 80% of the people that watch my videos are not currently subscribed, so if you're one of those 80%, make sure to click that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. We are on our way to 25k subscribers. But anyways, that's been it for today. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.